Okay, so I'm going to go over meiosis today, and the first thing I want to talk about is just the fact that this picture, right, you will commonly see this, it gets it gets duplicated after the S phase, and we'll start with this. But I just want to say that this is equal to this in terms of chromosome number, right? They both have 23 chromosome numbers. However, the thing that's different is the DNA amount. You can physically see that the raw amount has doubled, right? So over here it's doubled. So that's why it goes from 23 in the DNA amount to 46 for the amount of DNA in the cell. So just going over some basics, well, in a somatic cell and in a starting germ cell, you have 23 pairs of chromosomes. And so that would mean that there's 46 individual chromosomes, right? So, and going over some terminology, haploid is represented by N, and all that means is that there's one set of chromosomes. Diploid means that there's 2N and that there's two sets of chromosomes, right? So to cement that, I want to use an analogy. So if I asked you about this picture, right? If I said, how many pairs of shoes do you have? You would say that there's 2 pairs of shoes, right? But if I asked you how many individual shoes there are, well, you would say that there's 4 shoes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 individual shoes. That's the same thing that I'm saying over here, that there's 23 pairs of chromosomes, but 46 individual chromosomes, right? And that's important when we come to the starting point in meiosis. So for a diploid cell, right, because this is diploid, you get 23 chromosomes from your dad and 23 chromosomes from your mom. And that's how you get this 46 chromosomes or 23 pairs of chromosomes. So we would label that for chromosome number 2N, right? So another way to think about that is just think about it as in brands, right? So for example, for shoes, if I asked you how many brands of shoes do I have over here, right? Well, you would say that there's 2 brands of shoes, right? So we have blue Nikes and red Under Armour shoes. Same thing after replication, right? After the S phase, and you replicate these DNA, you would have, if I asked you how many brands you would have, well, it'd still be the same, right? There would be 2 brands. Even after replication, there's still only 2 brands of Nike and Under Armour. Same thing, there would still only be 2 brands, blue and red, and therefore still it would be 23 pairs of chromosomes each and 46 chromosomes total. So that's why it remains the same as 2N. So remember, just go back to this, that this is equal to this, right? So that's why there's 23 chromosomes here, 23 chromosomes here. So combined, there'd be 46 chromosomes, 46 chromosomes. And that's why this stays the same, 2N. However, you can see that the physical amount has doubled, right, between this and this. That's why over here it's 2N, and this is 4N, right? Same thing, right? Like over here, it's physically doubled from 4 to 8. And that's why it's 4N, right? And you can just count it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4N. But the amount of brands has stayed the same, right? So 2N. That's why I want to keep emphasizing that point, that the number of brands hasn't changed. The number of chromosomes hasn't changed. So if we keep moving forward, it goes from a diploid cell to a haploid cell in a division called reduction division, right? And that makes sense because now if I asked you how many brands are there, now you'd say there's only 1 brand, right? There's only red shoes, and over here there's only blue shoes. So that's why the chromosome number goes down to N. It goes from 2N to N, so it goes from diploid to haploid, right? And so, and also the amount of DNA has also changed, right? So it goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, right, to 2, because there's only 2 now. So keep going forward. This is called the maturation division, right, because it still goes from haploid to haploid. Well, if I ask you how many brands there are in this cell, well, there's only 1 brand, right? Same thing, there's only 1 brand in each of these, because there's just 1 color, right? So it's blue here, so 1 brand, so that's why it's N. And there's only 1 color in this one, so that's why it's N. And then for DNA, you can see that it's also gone down, right? So it's gone from double to just half of that, and so N. So you can also work your way back up and see that this makes sense, because if you have the amount of DNA, right, it goes from N, right, 1, to 2N, 2, to 4N, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then before replication, you just have 2, right? So 2n over here. So 2, 1, 2 for 2n, for the raw amount of DNA. So I hope that helped, and thanks for watching.